Aloha, 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 beautiful souls. Hello. Streaming live from Sedona. I see your hearts. This is your Lemurian Tribe live session today. Blessings, blessings, blessings. We're live in Sedona for a live event, and I'm warmly welcoming you into this amazing space. Every single one I'm going to show you right now around, you will feel the hearts, you feel the energy, and if you tune into that. So come here with us. I'm going to show you. So we have a group of people here. We're about 40 people. Bye. Everybody say hi. Okay. Okay, beautiful. And today we have a special treat for you planned. Woohoo, here are the masters. And this special treat is you are going to have a teaching session that actually has a panel with our higher self masters. And I haven't explained higher self masters to this group here yet. I just went through explaining what the tribe is in the courses. So I'm going to include that into everybody's experience. Now, give me a quick sign. When I have the microphone on and talking to you in the computer, do you hear an echo? People, give me a thumbs up if you hear an echo. Only one thumb per person. Echo. Okay, good. I'm going to turn this off. You guys can hear me, yeah? Yeah. Okay, super. So this is going to be without the microphone. And so I'm hoping we have everybody project here well. Everybody of the master. I'm getting hearts now, guys. So the hearts, they're coming up like this, right? And this is a platform. It's called Air Meet. And you can literally meet on tables and sit down and chat. And as soon as I call everybody in, which I just did, they only see the stage, they're off the tables, and then they can give reactions. And right now I'm seeing the heart. Love you guys so much. And this is going to be recorded and going to be in the library for everybody to listen to later. Yeah. So now we're going to start our panel. And what's going to happen is you who are present here and the live people who are present live, you can ask a question to one of the higher self masters, and they will share their experience with you. And I thought this is a fun thing to do. And I hope you guys feel that same way. Because what is a higher self master? A higher self master is a person who went through the course, who's part of the membership, and who has um, studied with me one-on-one for 12 weeks minimum. And that's live sessions, really transformative one-on-one training where I work with them every day. And we have a session every week. And we really master this lifestyle. Right? And that's not for everybody. Not everybody needs to do that. In order to live the higher self lifestyle, you don't need to do that. If you want to break through in that way and you feel called to that, then it's for you. And then contact me. And so this is the people who are in the tribe and are live here right now who've gone through this training. What happens when you're a master is you just land yourself at a greater level in your own expression, in your own calling. So your personal calling, why you came here on the planet, becomes so activated as you cannot activate it by yourself, as I could not activate it by myself. So I would need, and I did do that, another master to help me break through in that level. So therefore, they are sitting here, have broken through any ceiling that was available to them to hold them back, and are fully expressing in oneness, in abundance, in health, in service, and in love. And so, how does that look like when somebody lives a normal life, right? How is that applied in normal life? And because it's all practical spirituality, right? So we want practical spirituality, and therefore we want to know, well, how do you tie your shoes? Do you tie them differently or no? You know, how do you fly an airplane? Aditi, she's a pilot. How do you clean your bathroom? How do you handle conflict? How do you do a business? How do you attract clients? How do you, go speak on stage? How do you parent your children? How does it look like applied? And as we know, I love examples. If I get an example from a person, I love Michael Beckwith. This is how we met. Michael Beckwith is one of the teachers that I really love. I'm waiting for his examples. And we bring me a real life example, bring me an example how you apply this, right? And he doesn't do much of those examples. And so you have an opportunity right now to get real life examples. So if there's something in your life right now where you feel you would like to have an example of how it could get done better, ask that question. So is there anybody who would like to start? And then as far as the masters go, we were going to meet and talk about how we handle this. Now we did it all telepathically. So you just feel into who would like to answer that particular question that's being posed. Yeah, and you just raise your hand. If you feel called, this is my question. Even if we have several hands, you just say something and make sure you just talk short. Not like me. Okay, good. So any questions here online, ask a question, and anybody here live. Okay, Spencer. So I'm going to have Spencer ask the question. Camera's coming to you. Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, all the trainings that you guys do and have done in the past and then moved into this, did you see separation or growth, or how did it affect you, and then apply that to your life as a before and after the trainings that you've already done, and then after you've went through the program of mastery?
Mm-hmm. Okay, Susan, as a Courtney.
Hi, everybody. I think that you continue to build off of what you've already been using, but you can do it at a deeper level, at a stronger level. When I came into the program, I had a very deep sense of like what my purpose was, but I couldn't figure out how to accomplish it. And I realized because I felt so strongly about it, I was kind of desperate for it. I was like, I have to do this. I have to do this. And the more that I wanted that, I would get in the way because I'm trying to control how and make it happen. And so with working with Ariya, I've leveled up to a place where it's not a question anymore. It's happening. So all the doubt, all the desperation, that's gone. So I feel very confident and secure. And then I was going to say something else.
It's beautiful, but then things flow and you can allow things in.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you're still using all the same tools. It just gives you a deeper level of using them, if that makes sense. Oh, that's what I was going to say. And the big thing is surrender. I realized I'm trying to figure out how, and I'm cutting myself off from all the beautiful things that I could be getting because the universe has something so much bigger for me than what I'm thinking about. And so when it was shutting all these doors in my face, it was leading me to something that I would have never even imagined.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Wonderfully said. Wonderfully put. Woohoo. There's a question from Ellen here live. And Susan, Courtney, you're getting all kinds of hearts. And so I'm bringing Ellen on stage. Ellen, try this again. I thought I said come on stage. Please just try again and I'll get you on stage. And then everybody will see you. And so then while she's coming on stage, here's a question that Alex is posing. How did you get through something you know is not part of your life purpose, but you need to finish it? For example, a PhD. Who would like to answer that? Yes, our doctor. This is Dr. Aditi.
Yeah, a PhD is not fun.
One moment, we need you to talk loud.
Oh, can you hear me better now? Oh. Oh, okay.
I'll hold it.
So I have a bachelor's in electrical engineering. a medical degree, and a pilot's license. And, it wasn't that Ariya necessarily helped me do all of those things because, it's a 3D thing. You can do that. But what she really did was open my heart so that I could be loving towards myself while I was doing the 3D things. And so it's really, really true that everything you do, you have to fill it up with love. And there can be different pieces of you that are not able to love yourself. And it's a way to open that up, open those channels up. And once you get there, it's so beautiful because you don't want to be anyone else. You don't want to be on any other path. You're just so happy to be present.
Thank you, Aditi. So beautiful. Yes, good question too. Thank you for sending energy after somebody shared. Really appreciate that. Okay, turning this off again. Good. Next question. Let's see if there are any raised hands. Ellen, did you try to raise your hand again? Try it one more time if you did, and I'm going to bring the next. Oh, here she is. Bring her on. Hand the microphone. Okay. So this is Ellen here. I'm going to have everybody see you once you have your camera going. Okay, now speak as loud as you can.
Okay, I've been working on clearings, and of course, prior to finding you, I worked with many different instructors, and there's a huge variety of ways that people teach clearing. What I notice is that some of it is ridiculously complex, like they're asking you, and I wrote down an example here. So a clearing might be everywhere. I refuse to allow myself to be fully authentically me as a result of believing in this inevitability of failure and not being enough. And then you say whatever clearing statement. But I think that your higher self knows who you are and doesn't need the details. And so would it be just as effective for me to ask my guides, please remove this inevitability of failure from me? Thank you.
Would like to answer that? Who feels called? Do I need, let me just rephrase it really simply. Okay, and let me know if I get you right, Ellen. Do I need a specific form of statement when I need to clear something? Or can I just say, oh, remove whatever's hindering me from being my best self?
Not necessarily. What I'm trying to get at is there is a lot of people, search yourself and see what you can find, the cause, and you picked it up from your mother and your uncle when you were 7. And I'm thinking, that's a lot of detail. And so could I not just simply, without details, ask the greatest intelligence on earth to please clear that for me?
I think I want to answer that. Is that okay? I feel called.
We just said to ourselves, I think that's a question for Ariya.
I got you. So I would like to answer that. And this is a wonderful question. And as a healer, this question comes up all the time because I help people clear things, right? And when I started doing this work in Germany, I found myself clearing, healing. And then people would say, clear this, I have this, can you heal this, can you heal this, can you heal this? Until I realized, wait a minute, I'm disempowering people by healing them because now they're coming to me to heal them. Even though I was so asking Jesus that he could help me heal and I got this gift, I realized I need to ask for something else. So I asked, okay, how can I better serve people? And I got told, show them their life purpose and help them remove what stands in the way of their life purpose so they can live it and everything else will be healed. Everything else will align. The abundance will also come, the resources as well. So healing comes, but everything else as well when you're aligned with your soul purpose. So that's when I shifted to, yes, healing, but only healing something that is obviously in the way. similar to, let's say you have rocks and boulders everywhere in your garden, and you want to go to the river on the other side of the garden. Are you going to move every single rock just so your garden doesn't have rocks? Maybe the rocks may be even perfect where they are, right? You're just going to remove the rocks that are standing in the way of you getting to the river, right? And so that's what you want to do. Yeah. So heal
Thank
when
you.
you realize that is standing in the way. I need to get rid of that. But then you're going to say, okay, if I'm walking where I'm needing to go, then I can say, okay, whatever you need to clear, whatever I should be clearing, please do that for me. Anything that's standing in the way for my purpose, you can clear. You can say that to your guides, because those you don't need to know. And then you find your garden all of a sudden be transformed into this beautiful place, where some rocks are used, others are gone, but you didn't have to be involved in the clearing more than what was needed for you to get to the river. And why is that important? Because if you focus on something you don't want, which what you're clearing is what you don't want, too long, you're manifesting more of what you don't want. So you want to have a balance there. Does that make sense?
Ariya, you have saved my confusion. This is fabulous. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome question. Thank you. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Woohoo! Okay, you're getting celebration signs. Okay. Now, do we have a question here in the room to the masters? Okay, yes. So this, yeah, go ahead.
This is Luisa, and I actually have two questions.
Uh-huh,
Probably
Luisa.
the two of them together.
Okay.
The first one is, how do you guys find what your purpose is and why it's different than other techniques that are out there? And then once you find it, why you just don't leave it to the universe to give it to you instead of doing whatever it is that you're doing?
Uh-huh. Okay, super. Yeah, okay. So first part, second part? Okay, good. So we'll start with the first part and then we'll go to both.
Okay, so let's restate the first part of the question. How did this help us find our life purpose, right? So I think since I was born, I had this driving sense. I'm a very driven person. But I did feel that I would exhaust myself at the end of the day, and I felt scattered and not connected and not focused. In some activities, I could work more than 7 people combined and not feel tired. And in other activities, I wouldn't work at all and drain myself out. So I could tell there was a difference of how I was using my activities, and it wasn't an energy reserve, it was something else. And soon as you know, I have been growing up and have had a spiritual inclination. I've learned about life purpose, and I've had this direction that I want to do it. Being a Hindu, we have a very strong concept of having a master, a guru in life, and I've had that since I was a kid. But since I moved here, my penchant for a guru was really, really strong. And as I went through, say, a low in life, all I did was pray for that guru to give me that direction. And over time, I've been in front of you. I've shared my experiences, and I stumble across Ariya. And the difference is that once I connected with her, I learned my life purpose and really got focused and centered on it through my master training. The difference between now and then is that right now I am a supersonic jet. And before this, I was a snail. That's the difference between knowing your purpose and knowing it right. Yes, I had the techniques. Yes, I had everything, all the tools, but it wasn't so clear to me that it resonated in every cell of my being. And it wasn't so easy to receive and say yes to. I have found other techniques to be obscure and technical and difficult. My own religion, because of not knowing the language the texts are written in, I've had struggled to touch them and absorb them. But with Ariya, the tools are so practical and so easy to understand that they are completely different from what I've grown up with, it is still the very, very same. And as a master, it's the speed that I work towards
and the energy that I hold and share has completely transformed since I found my purpose. So ever so grateful to Ariya to help me with that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get back to Ari.
So I think for me, growing up Christian, you know, you always have the answers in religion, right? But I always felt a disconnect with a lot of what religion brought, which was judgment, right? And if we're supposed to love everybody and Jesus loves everybody, who are we not to love everybody? Are we more important than Jesus? No, we're not. So for me, my purpose wasn't, you know, as clear. And I've gone through many different purposes in my life. And I didn't have that clarity, but I've always felt something and an answer inside of us because I believe that when God does create you, he creates you with a purpose in mind. And each and every one of us has that purpose. And for me, I've always known on a very subconscious level and on a soul level the answer. I had been stripped away of my power, of my courage growing up with a lot of programming that we aren't enough, that we don't have the answer, we don't have the power. So throughout my divorce, a lot of you guys know I went through a divorce, was married for 10 years. I chose me first. And when I chose me first, everything started to evolve. The answers were already inside of me. Ariya just helped me gain the clarity. A lot of you know I never wanted kids. Married for 10 years, not one day did I ever wake up thinking that I was going to be a mother. When Ariya told me that my purpose was to be a mother, I knew it on a soul level. So that was a purpose. It was a confirmation. Whatever purpose is inside of you, you have it inside of you. If you want clarity, search for it and it will come for you and it will come to you. My clarity came in the form of somebody that has mastered clarity, somebody that is consistent in her training. And I'm, again, forever grateful for that. And the reason why, you know, you say, well, why don't you just manifest it? The thing is, you have the clarity, right? But for a lot of us, we're still in this world and we have to navigate this world and we have to learn things in order to basically go to that highest self, the highest version. And I can tell you, I have self-sabotaged many things in my life. I have self-sabotaged jobs where I could be making millions of dollars because I didn't have that worthiness. I have self-sabotaged friendships, including one friendship here. I self-sabotaged a beautiful friendship one time. God gave me the opportunity to mend that, and I'm forever thankful for that. But because we've been taught not to be worthy, we can self-sabotage that. And that is the process and the beautiful healing that I've been called to do, to move into that path. That way, whenever I am a mother, I can be the most beautiful mother. When I am a wife, I can be the most beautiful wife.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, there's two more people want to say something about that.
I just wanted to piggyback off of that beautiful thing that Ari just said. You are so light and so loved. And if I look at you, I'm gonna cry. But that's been a theme for us this weekend together, is forgiveness and self-forgiveness. And I think it's so obvious, but sometimes we don't make that connection, that we don't feel worthy because we don't forgive ourselves. We hold ourselves up to these expectations we would never hold somebody else up to. You would never expect these things. And then when you don't meet this unrealistic expectation, you hold it against yourself and you're not worthy. And so I just wanted to take that moment for us all to recognize how important that is, that we forgive ourselves for just being human and give yourself some grace and love yourself. And know that if you're running away from your purpose, it will keep coming back to you till you acknowledge it.
Thank you. Absolutely. Oh. And here we have one more person sharing.
Hi
Lisa?
guys. Yeah, I just wanted to answer your question that you had in the beginning. So for me, I think for the longest time, I didn't know my life purpose. And so I felt like for decades, I would just pick the job I'm supposed to pick that is most successful. So I did mechanical engineering and business, an MBA in business. And I thought, wonderful. And at some time I felt so disconnected, but I didn't know what it was and I didn't know my purpose. So actually, the first time I really thought about my purpose was in that class that you're doing in the very beginning, because every time we have a lounge, Ariya would say, introduce yourself with your self-purpose. I'm like, oh, damn, you know. So I learned also through the lounges in the beginning to really think about. So I would prepare, okay, next session, what do I say? And then I really had to sit down and think about it. And then in the masters, I think Ariya helped me just saying, what do you love most? What moves your heart? And it was completely different from what I've done. So I learned through the lounge to start actually defining my purpose. And in the masters, to intensify and really coming home and let all the decades before go and just say, okay, this is what I need to do. And then when you ask, how do you get there? Why don't you just manifest? I think a lot of times we're so blocked and we can't think where we want to be that you don't even know. And so I think a lot of things that we do in the masters is removing the blockages that you might have accumulated for decades, but it's a process, right? It doesn't come like over. So it's really the process, coming home and self-love, and accept that it's okay to end up with something completely different than you're supposed to do. You know, you talked about Germany. You have to do this, and you have to do this. And if you speak up, maybe people say that's a stupid question. So you'll never speak up, right? So how you free yourself from just being like coming home and being separate and don't care what's going on, it's a long process, I think. And the lounges help a lot, and then the course does a lot. But then if you really need a big transformation, I think the master is amazing because there's more work to do, more blockages to remove, and a beautiful path to really continue. So love that.
Great question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. Sorry.
Mahalo. Thank you. Great questions. Oh, there's a question here. And then Alex has a question. So let me do Alex first. So we'll go back and forth. So we're going to call on Alex. I'm handing the mic, Alex. And so she's online right now.
Hello.
Hello, Alex. Okay, sharing you with the group here. What is your question, Alex?
My question, I have two questions. Well, first, thank you for answering my previous question. That was really helpful. And thank you, Ariya, for your healing and just your beingness and everything. So my questions are, what do you wish you knew before you did the training? And what were some of your biggest challenges during the training?
Beautiful. Okay, so Jenny wants to answer that.
Can you, hi, good to see you.
Hello.
Can you please repeat the first piece, please?
What do you wish you knew, but like right before you did the training? And the reason I ask is because I'm going to do the training at the end of the month, so I have this buffer period, so I want to prepare as much as possible.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've been there asking myself, why am I doing this in the first place? And what do I need to do? I'm an engineer, a quality engineer. So quality engineers, we need checklists for everything. So over the checklist, I need to do A, B, C, and then I feel ready. When it's exactly the opposite. It's like you were born ready, and sounds easy and sounds like not real. But going back to a previous question that is connected to yours, I think you need to realize that as a human being, you have a uniqueness to yourself that nobody else is going to give you. So I wish I knew before that I didn't need the checklist, because then I put additional pressure on myself, not recognizing and not acknowledging the fact that I was saying yes not to Ariya, I was saying yes to myself,
Mhm.
to my need to look for a better place, to the place I deserve to be in, and then, you know, giving that power back to yourself is the real gift of this program compared to any other program, because in other programs you get a sense that I need to be there, otherwise I'm missing out. I need to follow those steps, otherwise I'm not good enough. And this is the only place I feel fully embraced as I am right now. And it's okay not to know it all. And it's okay not to have all the answers. Every time I go to bed and I have something to resolve, any issue, any question, I know the universe and my higher self know better than me and my logical mind. So I just go with that question to bed, knowing that I'm going to wake up with the answer. And I cannot tell you how many times I woke up with the answer. I just run into my computer and I do it in half an hour, where it used to take me a week. So
Wow.
you got it.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Alex. Oh, see you soon. Good. Okay, questions here. And any question really related to your life, it doesn't need to be to mastery. I want to take it a little bit away from speaking only about mastery, because we're not inviting people into mastery right now. I just want you to get a glimpse of how we can ideally live that higher self lifestyle, so that, you know, you can have the jet stream that I always talk about. I always talk about you getting on that jet stream of life when you're all of a sudden, you know, Richard Branson, he shared this story that he did a hot air balloon trip, and he wanted to go really far, I think from America to England. Don't pin me on that, but really far. And they had to hit the jet stream in order to make the speed and the time so that could do that. Nobody's ever done that, and they didn't know if the balloon would hold up the jet stream, but they were daring enough to do it. And I just always see that picture when I think of us as a higher self lifestyle. You know, you get yourself on that jet stream and whoosh, you're going. You look back, you're like, what? All of that happened? I did that? Oh my gosh, all these challenges, it kind of flew by. You know, it's not that you don't end up with challenges, but you go through them so quickly and so effectively that they're more like, you know, things on the side, just like you would have a red light on the traffic light, a traffic light. You wouldn't think, oh, I had 15 challenges on my way here. No, I had 15 traffic lights, but I don't remember any of them, right? Because I just went from A to B. So that's how it is. You go from A to B, mastering whatever comes, and you eliminate the challenges before they come to a large degree with the morning programming, so that you find yourself going faster from A to B than anybody's ever gone, and actually going somewhere where nobody's been able to go because they never hit the jet stream. And the idea is that our big vision, so you know that as well, is that we will have higher self groups in every city. Just like when yoga came and we had very few yoga classes, right? And it was a privilege to, or something exotic to have a yoga class. Right now it's exotic to say, oh, I'm a higher self master. I work with my higher self, you know. Even the word higher self is not that well known, but it's coming. It's coming. I hear everybody on Mind Valley now starting to talk about higher self. You know, I was on Michael Beckwith's podcast a few weeks ago, and he talked about the higher self. I've never heard him before talk about the higher self. He talks about the upper room, but now he talks about the higher self. So we're all starting to use this terminology because it's coming in from the higher realms and it's informing everyone, right? And we're catching it. So we want to have a higher self group in every major city where people come together live like we do right now, and also virtually, and support each other, uplift each other, feed each other and feed from each other in a way that is sustainable and gives more and more and more. And imagine a world where this becomes the norm, where you come into a group and you're not judged. You're not coming in and you're like, oh my gosh, what are they thinking? How do I look? You're coming in, how do I want to look? Like I did a class where I had no makeup, was in my jammies, just to give myself and everyone the understanding that I don't need to look pretty. I love to look pretty, but I don't need to look pretty in order to show up for you. Yeah. So that you get to be the way you want to be and you're going to be accepted the way you are, no matter if you have a good hair day or a bad hair day, right? And we actually raise, and this is an important part, and Heidi knows about that so much because we do that all the time. We raise the vibration of the planet together, right? We raise the vibration because when you guys go out after this training, you go into the world, you go even just to the restaurant. Have you noticed in the restaurants? Everybody's like, yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, I serve you. Oh, how are you doing? You know, they notice. They notice. The hotel staff notices because you're high vibration. So when you go out into the world after the live session here as well, and being part of the membership, you uplift the planet. And we are set out, and this is my big vision for the coming years, to create higher self groups in every city. Woohoo! You with me on that? Yay! Higher self groups in every city. Woohoo! Yes. Good. Okay. Ava has a question. And then Nadia, I'd love for you to share a little bit about how a higher self lifestyle looks like when you grow up like that, if you want. And I can give you more cues if you need more cues. You let me know. Okay. I put him on the spot, but he's so good at that stuff. Okay. Here's Ava.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Oops.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Ava, go share. What is your question? So I'm going to share you with the group here. This is
Yes. Hello. Hello, everyone.
Ava.
My
Ava is coming from
question is actually if someone has to share an experience of how to overcome insecurity, which sort of ties into a lot of self-sabotage and other things. Hi, everyone. Uh, how uh, how to overcome this insecurity to actually start to take the daring steps.
I love it.
Hi, Ava. Great
You
question.
Hello.
For me, just starting the course over a year ago, the practices that we daily that I partake in has helped me tremendously. And then going to my higher self and then forgiving myself and being kind to myself. And as Courtney said earlier, being gracious to yourself and just taking that time, that 5 minutes after the meditation, to just be in a quiet space so that you can allow downloads to come through. I can give you an example. Recently, I shared with the group. I was in a lot of, since I did the mastery in Hawaii, I came back and it's just like I've been in a jet stream. I opened up a business. A lot of things had changed, and friends had changed. A lot of things, just doors opened up, and it was happening quickly. And as anyone would know, it's not easy to open up an office. A lot of self-doubt and insecurity creeps in. And I had hired an intern, and I had fallen sick when that intern on the same day said that she was resigning, although the internship had ended. And I felt sad, and I felt physically weak because I was not feeling well because of a flu. But because of the meditations and the support, the love that I have in the community, I came home and actually tears were running down my face. And I felt like, oh no. But I looked in the mirror and I felt like a jet stream. The best thing I could say is a jet stream of love coming through my veins, my vessels. And I looked in the mirror and I felt the angels surrounding me. at a time when I felt physically weak. And I just felt so loved and adored and appreciated. And I just looked in the mirror and the voice said, I love you. You are adored. Everything that you're doing, well done. And that felt like that was grace. So I think that overcomes a lot of on the 3D level where we feel like we're not good enough or there's a level of insecurity. If you tap into the angels, if you just tap in and just let them love you and know that you're loved by the ancestors, the masters, all this work that we're doing is not in vain. It kicks in ways that you'll be like, wow, I'm somewhere else. I'm somewhere else from when I started. And so that's with the mastery, the practical training, and this the support that I get from the community. That's what's helped me with that. Hope that
Oh,
helps.
beautiful. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Mm.
Oh, yes. Love that. And also do the courage session. You know, we have a session in the library in the actual tribe, and you can go there, and it's a current courage booster. And anything that's about courage and self-esteem in that category, you can do those sessions again, but specifically do the courage booster, and you'll find where that courage is coming from. It's not a human thing. It's not coming from your humanness. It's an energy that you can tap into, just like we can tap into love. Where's love coming from when we love somebody? Is that coming from inside of you? Is that something the physical body creates? Or is that something you're tapping into and that you're drawing into your being and then you feeling it? The latter, yeah? So yes, love is a universal energy that we tap into and that we can use our physical body and via our intention and then our feeling to activate in our physical body. Similar to when you have, let's say, you know, vitamins like vitamin C powder and it's all dry. You put it in water, it gets activated and it bubbles, you know, before you drink it. That's how love is, and that's how courage is as well. So it's always there. If we had this vitamin C powder everywhere, then that would be love or courage. Those two energies, particularly. And they can actually be used, but you use your physical body as the water that absorbs it and takes it in, and then it starts to become alive. And you're now feeling courageous where you didn't feel courageous before. If courage was something that had to do with anything you do or who you are, then people who do a lot and do stuff well would need to have more courage. People who grew up in a really good family that told them you're good all the time would have more courage. That's not the case. It's not the case. Anybody can tap into that. Yeah. So it's an energy you tap into. Okay. Good. Okay. Super. Thank you. And so here we have Sonia ask a question.
Thank you.
Thank you for waiting.
So, yeah, no problem. I wanted to salute my sisters in the tribe. What an honor to be known as a master of your higher self and to have a teacher like Ariya to do it. It's really inspiring. And it's, you know, I really want to acknowledge your journey and how inspiring it is, I'm sure, to all of us and many, many more. So you're going to laugh at my question, but hear me out. You know, I'm a focused person. I'm a disciplined person. I've been relatively successful. I love what I do. I found my purpose very early. I've lived that life. I've done it for 20 years.
Share what you do.
I'm a vascular surgeon. I have my own practice. I have my own clinic. We just recently expanded. I'm very blessed. That's not the problem. I'm also very spiritual. I grew up in a very spiritual family. We've meditated since we were children. It was just part of our culture. I've done different disciplines, even though I'm brought up Muslim. I've went to a Christian school. I've had Buddhist teachings. I've had intuition masters. And I love it. I enjoy it. It's just, I think that's what brings us all together. So when friends come to me and ask me, will you pray for me? Can you see, you seem like you have a lot of clarity. I can sit down and I can get the download, no problem. I can tell them, I think you should do this. I don't think you should do this, be patient, whatever. Now, when it comes to me Right? Like I'm thirsty, I know I need to drink water. I'm hungry, I know I need to eat something. I don't want to go up no elevator to my higher self to talk to myself. Like I think it should be natural for me. So has it become natural for you to just tap in for yourself and answer the questions? And if it has, is this like a really long process I gotta look forward to, or how? Can it happen right now? Thank you.
Super. And let me clarify, are you saying, can I bypass the elevator also in your question? Faster. Okay, root round go. Can I bypass the freaking elevator? Okay. Okay, who would like to answer that? Okay, so raise your hand. Don't put your hand towards somebody else. Just show me if you want to talk. Okay? Okay. Quick. Okay, and I'm going to say something really quick before you start. So we're starting, this is a really good question because, hey, everybody wants to answer this, okay? And I'm going to say really quick. So the elevator is a tool that changes your frequency of your brain, just like hypnosis. In hypnosis, you walk down. You're not literally walking downstairs, but you're going into your subconsciousness that way. And when you go up in an elevator, you actually go to your higher super consciousness, and that's the higher self. It's another word for higher self, a scientific word. And so you are using the elevator, and you guys who don't know this yet, when I guide people up to the higher self, which is what we're going to do this afternoon, we'll guide you up in an elevator. And the elevator activates the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, and brings the brain from a beta frequency to an alpha and then a theta frequency. So this is why we're doing the elevator, in order to up-level that. And you need the elevator when you have something important where you want your ego to be gone. If you have something not so important, like what shoes do I wear? Do I go to a vacation now or not? Do I, go to this meeting or don't do I go to this meeting? What is the best, course of action here? Then you don't need to go to your higher self. The higher your vibration is, and that's the lifestyle. The higher your vibration is, when your vibration is high, your ego gets quieter and the higher glands are being more activated. And therefore, you're literally activating that part of your brain that speaks the truth. And you are obviously living that a lot. You're living a higher self lifestyle a lot. That's why you have a high vibration. So if you have a high vibration, or if you're using the steps in the course to gain a high vibration, then you'll have a lot of questions answered just on the go, boom, 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 intuitively come to you. But if you have a really important question, you may want to make sure your ego is out of the way. And for that, you use the elevator. Okay, so here.
Okay.
Few more answers.
Yeah, so a lot of us were inspired to answer that. So we'll keep it short and I'll pass it along to the masters. Wonderful question. And as somebody who's driven, disciplined, knows all the tools of here and outside, the only factor that can speed up that process is the level of surrender. So the higher the level of surrender to the higher institution that guides you, the shorter the time you're going to take to live as your higher self. And that's my...
Well, that's a great question that we ask ourselves all the time, because we all want to see rapid transformation. We want to see results. We want to be focused, and we want to fulfill our life purpose, right? So all I can say is your answers will depend on the quality of the questions you ask. So to me, has been in a practical level, I learned how to ask better questions. Before, I didn't ask why anymore. I asked, what must I think is true about this situation that will help me get to my higher self and my life purpose? So you need to really be mindful of what kind of questions you're asking, so the answers come to you naturally.
Thank you. So, yeah. So for me, I think I needed a lot of practice. So I think the normal class is about 2 weeks. You learn how to go up and then you expect getting answers. And that didn't happen for me. So I've got just continued being in the tribe doing that. So, but I switched from going once in a while up to going up every day. And it's a huge difference. So for me, I know I do need to go up to get a clear answer and a true higher self answer versus the ego. I think it depends a little how strong your ego is to take over all the time. So if it's strong and you know that, I think it's beneficial to go up and spend a little time. And I don't think I'm there yet to ask the perfect questions, but what I do sometimes is I'm going up and just say, what is important for me today? And trying to shut down my brain and just feel what's coming. So for me, it was sometimes it's me talking to myself, sometimes it's a visual, but it actually also changes all the time. So I learned how to just sit there and see what's coming and not trying to have my brain in the way. So I think that's probably the most important. And I think the more you do, I mean, doing that every day, even if it's 5 minutes, it's a huge difference. I mean, everything changed really then before going once in a while. Yeah, thank you.
So beautiful question for you. I think this answer specifically for you is, the moment you're in the OR and somebody's hemorrhaging and you don't have to think. Right. So, and you have, the person's going to be okay. You have no doubt in your mind. Right. So you will get to a place where you have no doubt in your mind for yourself. And there's a frequency, you will. And there's a frequency that you can tune into to do that. And so it's different for everybody. Only your heart knows that. For me, I spent hours imagining wholeness, the feeling of wholeness, really getting into wholeness. And then it started coming in. I don't use an elevator anymore. And then the tribe is beautiful because there's power in a group. And so if there's something difficult, I can call up anyone here and they can go up and ask for me too. Yeah.
Tell them why you know about WOR.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, in OBGYN, we operate too. And so, yeah.
What is OBGYN?
Oh, so that's obstetrics and gynecology. Yeah.
So she delivers babies.
Yeah.
In the most amazing way.
For me, I wanted to answer this question because I was definitely somebody that needed the tools at first. I didn't grow up with meditation or anything like that. So I started mastery, and mastery was really where everything evolved. And I love Ariya that she doesn't give you all of the answers. She teaches you how to fish. And I would understand that everything alchemizes in your body. Just like she's saying, the brain, the ego, all of it. Everything that we're doing energetically wise, even during our energy sessions, it alchemizes in your body. That's why she asks us to drink a lot of water, to be very gentle with our body, to be very gentle with ourselves, and to really learn to love our body. It's in our morning meditation, right? To take care of this body, because our bodies are so powerful. So for a lot of people, they need the tools. I needed the tools to be able to understand it. And when I was doing mastery, I started actually getting it. The answers started coming to me. And I started actually thinking, wow, it actually is happening in my body. And I would ask Ariya, and she said, yes, that's the answer. She's like, you're finding it out on your own. So just know that you have the answers. And the longer you spend in your body and doing the work and doing the process, just like Aditi says, like the answers come. And we always are here to support each other, to help each other out. And the one thing I think I truly do believe is we're not meant to have all of the answers, and we're not meant to we're not at least instantaneously, right? They're meant to come. I think it's a beautiful process, and it's part of, again, being in this beautiful world,
doing it and sharing with one another and living in that oneness. And it's at some point, like, I feel like we've all felt that, the level of oneness. And that is the answer to me, is oneness. So that if you want an answer to anything, it's oneness.
Thank you. Thank you. One more answer.
So this whole process of going up to my higher self, thank you for asking the question. I would sometimes go up and I don't have questions. And just to build on what Ari said and Aditi, it's going up as the process of mastery, that process, fusing, when I go up, I fuse my chakra with my higher self chakra. And there's such a love and a peace and a joy that comes from that. And because I spend quite a bit of time on my own, the love that I feel, the unity, the sense of oneness is so amazing that there are no questions. I get the answers though. In my daily activity, I know, to turn left, to turn right. But it's not a pursuit of that. It's just sometimes I'm like, didn't I ask that question already? You know what I mean? But it's just it's a time of joy and peace and coming together and unity and love. That's what happens. And it shows up in every other aspect of your life. Yeah.
So beautiful. Oh my gosh, thank you for this big
Yeah.
question. Did you want to say something?
I mean, I think these ladies did a great job. You don't need me to say anything else.
Okay, everybody talk. Thank you so much. So I hope you got a lot out of it. Everybody did, hopefully. Good. We have one more question. This is our last question here. This is Judith. And then we have a question here in the room. Mary? Hang on, do it here.
Chime in a little bit.
Okay.
I also
chime in.
have
Okay.
an answer to your question. Become a part of a higher self group, because it's so wonderful if you go up for someone else, you always see more than you see for yourself. And then when people go up for you and you get answers from the other people in the group and they are the same answers, or you get validation for what you see, it makes it so much easier to trust that what you are getting is actually real. And the more I've been doing it, the more vivid the things that I hear, that I see. So I just wanted to throw that in there. It takes practice, and then you get better at it.
Yeah.
At the trusting.
I really love that you mentioned that. I love that you mentioned that, because a higher self group is something for the people who are not familiar with the course. Once you're through the course and you've practiced going up to your higher self on your own long enough so you have the process down, then you get assigned to a higher self group if you want to. Everything is always optional. And the higher self group is up to 4 people, between 2 and 4 people, and you go to the higher self for the other person's question. Why that's so cool is because you don't know about the other person, and it really helps you understand and validate that you are getting the real answers from the higher self. It helped me so much. I actually started with higher self groups. I have a very strong mind and a big ego. And so I always have to make sure I get my ego in check, telling it can sleep, it's all fine, I got it all covered, you can relax. And I always have to get my mind in check, telling it, I'm just making it up, I'm just playing, I'm not saying it's real. Those are my tools I do. And then my mind says, oh, whatever, I'll let her play. She's not meaning it anyway. And my ego says, I get to rest. And then the real self has all the platform. But the interesting thing is, when I went to a higher self group and through a higher self group, and I asked the questions about the other person's question, and I got answers for them. For example, I see an oak tree at a river. And I'm like, that doesn't tell me anything. But I bring that oak tree in the river to the person. She said, oh my God, that's my grandma's birthplace. It's my grandma talking to me. And then I see the messages that came, and she realizes that directly from my grandma. That's what my grandma would say. Well, hear this 100 times and you start to realize you're getting the messages right. It's a confirmation. It helps you be more confident that you're actually getting the right answers.
Yes.
Right? And so it's very, very useful. Thank you. Okay, so we have one more question here from Judith, and then, but before we pick that up, I'd like to, oh, we can do Judith first, and then I'm going to have Nayade share a little bit, and then we'll go into the energy session. Yeah? Okay. So Judith, ask your question. Thank you guys for being good with timing today. I don't even know what time it is because it's a different time zone. I know it's 12, but what does that mean? Does that mean we're on time or we're not on time?
Hi. Hey, Ari.
We have your mandala here,
Nikki.
Judith. So Judith right now is the one who did the mandala over there. She's the artist. Saying hi to everyone. Aloha. So share your question with us, Judith.
Hi, thank you. So we talked about
louder.
Oh, louder. Is it better?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So we talked about going up to the higher self, and I think Nikki mentioned to sit after the meditation, the higher self meditation, for 5 minutes. And so my question is, I always get the chatter, the brain chatter. Even when I'm going up, I'm commenting what's happening. It's not easy for my brain to get quiet. So I'm wondering, what do you do? What kind of practices do you have to keep your mind quiet? Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for the question. Here's Neha.
I want to use an illustration, an example from a scripture. When you have your sight set on the goal, and that's the only thing you see, then everything around is inconsequential as nothing. So if I ask you to shoot at a fish, an eye of the fish, like, a few yards away from you, and I ask you, what do you see? What would you say?
The
What?
fish?
So exactly. So the point is that when you're trying to meditate and you have your sight so clearly set on the goal that everything else is inconsequential, just like Ariya says, I'm just taking you along. I know you have all these questions. Come along with me and just keep walking towards the goal. And the less power you give to your questions, the less they will affect you. So let them be. Don't shove them away. Don't try to make them quiet. They're like a spring. The more pressure you put on them, the higher they'll spring up on you. Just let them be there. And I always say what Ariya says, that's okay. I'm just playing around. Come with me. And in that very sing-along tune, and they go away before I knew it. And all that I have in front of me is my beautiful goal and the unity I feel with my higher self.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Neha. Beautiful answer. I love that. There's also a breathing technique. Do you want to talk about Hong Sa breathing technique? Okay. So there's a breathing technique you can do that's really powerful for that, which is what I'm going to include in the energy session today. So I'm going to include a breathing technique that's a mind chatter shut down. And so you'll hear that as well. Okay. Good. Thank you. That's perfect for the last question. Okay, good. Nayade, come on stage. Okay, here's my beautiful son, Nayade. Love him so much. And what's amazing about Nayade is that he basically grew up, with these teachings. He grew up connected to his soul, his purpose from the first moment. In fact, all he did when he was little, he was interested in airplanes. Still to this day, airplanes is a thing. Yesterday, if you saw him, he's looking at airplanes again on the phone. He's into aviation, everything that has to do with that. And when he was little, His first painting he drew in South Africa, he was like a year old. He started this scribble with different colors. I still have it. And I asked him, what is this? And he's, a plane, a plane. Like, of course. Every single thing he's done till he was like 8, 9 years old was airplanes only. But the funniest thing is when he was about maybe little less than a year, he started talking and he said his first word, mama, right? Supposed to be. So I'm like, he's gonna say mama, but soon he's gonna say mama soon. What did he say? So this is the guy whose first word was airplane. And so he's totally connected to his life purpose. And he also, uses energy work. He uses manifestation. But what I want to know from you, and I don't know what you want to share about that, is, how does it feel like when you grow up staying awake, not falling asleep, not buying into the media, not buying into the school, what the school tells you, they know better, not buying into what the peers say, but actually staying true to your guidance? How does life feel like and look like? You want to share something about
Yeah,
that?
sure.
You don't need the mic.
Okay, I don't need
You're
that.
loud enough, I think.
Hopefully.
Speak up.
Okay. So hello and hello. Good morning. So what was the question? Good.
Let me be more precise because a little bit vague. So, how do you handle peer pressure when other kids or adults or teenagers want to be, let's say, in their egos? They want to either make fun of someone, gossip, or tell you to do something like that, and you feel you want to stay in your true self that's connected to the good of all. How do you handle that? Make the computer a little down so she can see your face.
Oh yeah. Okay. So a big thing I noticed growing up with, living that higher self lifestyle was was that one big thing that, I'd see all my friends, they're getting stuck in this game, in this, need to be this way, need to wear that. And, and I even almost got to that point. I'm like, well, if they're all wearing it, maybe I should too. And so I tried it for one day and I did not like it because I noticed that when you end up trying to mold yourself to really, you know, mend in with, melt in with society, you become just you become part of all the people. You become not an individual person anymore. Same with, let's say you wear that specific t-shirt that everybody's wearing. Well, now you're just the same as all these other people wearing the same t-shirt. Whereas when you choose to really wear, what do you feel good in? What do you want to wear? You really, you really start noticing just in all aspects, well, I really like wearing that. And I really like being this way. And I really like saying this. And I really like, communicating in this way. I like that. And I'm also an individual person in that way. I'm not the same as those people. I may not like to go and skateboard. I might be a surfer instead, or I might like flying planes rather than sitting on my phone. What do I really like? And then also you also start getting put together with the people who also like those things, who also will help you to achieve those things. You start building a friend group around you of people who are enlightened and at your same, level of just love, energy, and upliftment. And so that was a really big thing for me. And also in, growing up, also going to school, I was the one who I was like 3 years old, and I'm wearing princess dresses to school. And I'm getting everybody else to want to wear princess dresses. And everybody's like, he's doing it. Can I do it? And then they ended up getting outlawed at the school because everybody wanted princess dresses. And the problem was it wasn't just one princess dress. They'd need one for every day. You can't wear the same one again. And so, that was just an example of, really not getting inundated into this, into this programming that, society is all built up with right now. And, really starting, because that really is bringing in the new age, the age of expression and the new age of expression. And yeah, so that was a really big one for me too.
Love that. Thank you, Nadia. Super. One other question I have for you is, and thank you, you're getting hearts. I'm going to hold this for you. Another question is, how do you deal with the energy of wanting? You know, society trains us from tiny little children on into great adulthood every day, trains us to want something. And we basically need this deodorant, this gadget, this car, this course, this friendship in order to feel whole, in order to be a good person, in order to be cool, in order to be hip. It trains us. We also get presents and we get gifted with things, and we see buffets of sugary things that we all want. And this feeling of wanting is a very strong energy within us. Would you all agree? Who agrees with me when we say wanting is a really strong energy? Yeah. And wanting can overcome us. It can take us over and we can be at the mercy of our wanting. In fact, for example, me, I'm addicted to sugar. And if I eat sugar, which right now I've been eating sugar, I cannot easily decide not to eat sugar. The wanting of sugar is so strong that I'll say, I don't want to eat sugar. I'm going to make a decision not to eat it. And I find myself, oh, just this little piece. It's really not anything. Actually, if nobody sees it, then I'm probably not even doing it. Right? So this wanting is a really intense energy. So I want to hear from Nayade. How do you handle wanting? And yeah, share anything about that.
So, well, for me, that was also a really big thing, especially when I was younger. And one of the most amazing things that ever happened to me that my mom did for me was she put me on 1 whole year of not getting any presents. You know, whatever I wanted this, I wanted that new motorcycle, you know, little motorcycle toy. I wanted this, I wouldn't get it, you know, and of course there's, I'd get food and that kind of stuff, right? But all these presents that, I got so used to ended up becoming reliant on them instead of it being oh, thanks for bringing that. I'm like, where are the presents? They come in from, visiting us from Germany. And I'm like, okay, nice to see you, but where are the presents? I need those. And it became less about, I'm thankful for having these, but I'm more wanting to see you guys, to more of a, I want the presents and it'll be cool to see you guys. That's more important to me, getting more things. And it wasn't even about the things. It wasn't like, oh, I really need that because I'm gonna play with it for a week. And then after a week, I'm like, where's the next one? It's that dopamine, that dopamine rush that always gets to you with all things. And after doing that whole year, what we started doing was sightseeing. So we would go to Target, we go to some store where it has these fun toys that I really wanted, right? And we'd walk through and we'd see them. And I get to tell, and I'd look through the store, I look at all of them, and I look at which ones do I love the most and what do I love about them. Then my mom, she'd come in and she'd say, oh, what'd you find? I'd tell her all about it. And that would give me that same, dopamine rush without always needing something new. It was like getting to go and look at the things that I wanted. And then automatically after, seeing it and I go out of the store, it's out of my mind. I'm not thinking of that anymore. I'm not like, oh, I really wish I'd gotten that, It's more of that was great to see it. I get to share it. I get to show my mom. I get to show people. And that's where we are. And now I still, I'll still have that moment of wanting. But it's definitely also helped me a lot being able to overcome that. And let's say I want a computer. Everybody's having this computer. I really want this computer. And then I think about it, and all of a sudden I'm like, I need the computer. I got to go look at it, right? So I look it up. I look all about it. I'm like, I think I need the computer. And I'm like, do I really need that computer? And so I think about it and I notice maybe I don't. Let me wait a bit. And then when I notice that I really need it, then I'll get it. And then I wait a couple of weeks, and I'm like, I forget about the computer. And then I'm like, oh, wait, no. Remember, there was that computer I wanted to get. I got to go get that. Same thing goes on again. And I noticed, I still didn't need it then. And I probably won't need it now. So why not look further, look past the computer? What is it that I really want? Oh, I want something to be able to connect with my friends. Well, what's that going to help? We're going to play with the computer here and there. And now instead of us connecting, we're going to be staying at home, playing these games on the computer, and then that's it, and then we're like, okay, good night, see you next week. Whereas, you start looking and you start seeing how you can really progress your life past the computer, past the toy, and really seeing what can you do instead? What will really give you that fulfillment? Well, I'd like to build my body. I'd like to build my health. I'd like to, cut out sugar. I'd like to eat a more healthy lifestyle, really work on that. I'd like to work on my business. And you notice, how does that make you feel when you have a business that's thriving, a body that is feeling, fit, that you feel like you can do everything that you want to do? How does that make you feel compared to playing with that toy for a week? What really gives you that fulfillment? And so that's really kind of how I base that off.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's close. Thank you. Thanks, Nadia. Love you so much. Mahalo.
Oh, should I get this back? So I just turned 263 this year. And that is 263 in my 15th year.
Yeah, it's 15 going on 263. Thank you so much. And I love what he shared about the wanting. And I just want to add one thing that did it for him was, instead of fulfilling the wanting when he was little, even now with us as adults, instead of fulfilling the wanting, to actually deal with the feeling of wanting. So when you have a want, I want to get out of that sadness, or I want to get into happiness, or I want to get that house, or I want to get that problem solved, or I want to get this friendship. Instead of go with the wanting, you go with that feeling of wanting, and you become very familiar with it, and you become friends with it, and you realize all you need to be is friends with that feeling. You do not want to go and fulfill the want. You want to just be with the feeling of wanting, and if you watch it long enough, it dissolves. And then you're back to wholeness. Because what wanting actually is, it is a nudge from the ego, from the world, from programming to get you out of your center. So if you want something really bad, it's really translated means, I want to get you out of your center. I want to get you out of your center. I want to get you out of your center. So if you listen to that and say, okay, you want me to get out of my center, I'm staying right here in my center and I watch you. I'll watch you. I watch how you feel. I feel sadness. I'm releasing that. I feel anger. I'm releasing that. Whoops, I'm back to myself. Happy, good, all is well. I don't want anything. Because when you don't want anything, that's when you're in your center. And when you want something bad, you're starting badly, you're starting to get off your center. If you want it really badly, you're already off your center. So it's really a call to come back to center. And anytime you get something, make sure it's not because you want it really bad. It is after you're done with the wanting, you still want it, you still need it, then, and you don't have a wanting feeling about it, then it's the right thing to get it. Yeah. So I learned that from the dolphins, because I really wanted to see the dolphins and I really wanted to swim with them. And every time I wanted to see them so bad, they were in the ocean. The whole ocean's full of dolphins. You see fins everywhere. All the people are swimming with the dolphins. I'm coming. I want to see the dolphins. And everything is gone. No more dolphins. Okay, I'm getting out of the water. Dolphins are back. I'm like, oh my gosh, there they are. Let me get to the dolphins. No more dolphins. So what they taught me, I asked them about him, like, what the heck? Do you not like me? Yes, we like you, but we don't like that energy. Because the energy of wanting is a solar plexus energy that pushes out of your solar plexus, and it pushes things away from you, and it pushes you away from your center. And so as soon as you draw that pushing energy in and you say, the dolphins are here, whether I see them or not, I'm going to be fine. There they are. I'm swimming with them, right? So that's what this wanting is. Good. Well, thank you everybody so much for the questions. Thank you, masters. I really appreciate everyone. Mahalo, 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 mahalo. We'll go straight into the energy session. You guys can go to your seat if you like or stay here, up to you. And before we do that, there's going to be a lounge time. So thank you, everybody. You're online right now. How has this been? Share with me for a moment how you're feeling, maybe in the chat. Give me some thumbs up. Has this been valuable? How are you feeling? Good, good, good. Super, super. I'm getting some thumbs up. I'm getting some hearts. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm going to lead you into the lounge in 10 minutes. We're going to have a break. If this is too long for you, you could come to the energy session later. I hope it's not too long for you and you feel inspired, then you just take a 10-minute break right now, like we do together. And in 10 minutes, I'm going to get you into the breakout rooms. We're going to share in the breakout rooms. And I'm going to give you a cue right now what to share about. And then we're going to have an energy session, which is going to be about 20 minutes. And in the energy session, we're going to activate your pineal gland, your pituitary gland. I'll show you a meditation tool that keeps your brain calm. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you in there. Good. So how are you all feeling? Let me see if I can get the chat going. Good. Okay, here's my chat. Woohoo! Loving hearing others' testimonials. Super. Very enlightening. Great. Great questions. Loving hearing this. Good. Loving it. Lots of valuable info and sharing. Wonderful. Nice. I noticed feeling with sadness and stress, but never knew I could do that with wanting. Yes, you can do that with wanting as well. Exactly. Good. Let me see. What a beautiful soul. Yes. Ha, ha, ha. Good. Okay. So this is landing. So you're going to have a 10-minute break. I'm going to pause the session right now. It is 12:30 PST. We're coming back at 12:40 PST into the breakout rooms. I'm going to have 15-minute breakout rooms. Let's do 15 minutes. And then that means we're coming back just 5 minutes to the hour for the energy session. Okay? Please make yourself available to the breakout rooms if you can at all. It'll be so special to share today with each other. What I'd like for you to share, so here's where we can end the recording. Love you guys. Aloha.